Hey guys, what's up? MadSeason here, back with another video for you. Patch 7.1.5 has been on the PTR for a little while now, and I thought it would be a good idea to compile a list of things that you should do now, or rather avoid doing now, to optimize your transition into the next patch. Some of these have to do with gold making, and others are just general useful things that you should know going into this patch. First up, I'll start with the biggest one, and that's the fact that you should keep 2 artifact research notes ready to pick up. As you may know, in 7.1.5 we're getting a catch-up mechanic with our artifact research. At your research NPC, you'll be able to just straight up trade in 500 ordered resources for an artifact knowledge level up to a maximum of level 15. Blizzard has brought in measures to where if you have research notes on your person or in your bank, you won't be able to make the trade, but they didn't take into account your active queue for these research notes. So the basic idea here is as soon as the patch hits, complete this trading quest over and over until you reach level 15, and then pick up your research notes to get put at 17 right off the bat. At level 15, it's plus 2,850 artifact power, and at 17, it's 4,550%, so it's quite the huge difference. Now, a big disclaimer I'll put right here is that this may not be intended, so it could very well be something that they change. There is a risk of wasting potential artifact power if you hold on to these notes on live servers and it turns out they change it anyways. To not burn yourself too much, always make sure that you have research rolling on live servers. There's no point in capping out at 2 in your queue now since the patch might be pretty far away. And they usually announce it a few days ahead of time, so you should have enough notice to prepare yourself. If you can, try to time it to where you cap out on 2 notes right before the patch hits. While we're on the subject of optimizing artifact power though, something else you can do is if you have a fresh level 110 is to hold off on the bulk of your SURAMAR chain. Your whole SURAMAR quest chain gives you a ton of artifact power, and for the most part it's designed for players with artifact knowledge level 0. So at artifact knowledge level 17, the artifact power you get is pretty insane, and if you want a big boost when the patch hits, you can just save the quest chain for then. You can still do the world quests in SURAMAR as well as the Nightfall and Emissary quests, so no worries there. The only downsides would be not getting the Wither training scenario, the portals, and the SURAMAR city disguise. Not having the latter two does make world questing in this zone pretty miserable, so I recommend you do what I do and progress to the point to where you at least unlock the disguise and the portals. I'll have links to these quests in the description, but the quest that unlocks the disguise is called MASQUERADE, and the quest that unlocks Oculith, who allows you to unlock the portals, is called Survey Says. They're not too far into the quest chain, so you're not wasting a ton of AP. I highly recommend knocking out the disguise quest at the bare minimum though, because traversing Suramar City to complete your world quest without it is not fun times. Number 3 on our list is kind of minor, but something else you can do is to save your newest 2 emissary turn-ins until the patch hits. You can do the quest for the emissary caches, but don't pick up the actual cache just yet. There are a couple of reasons for this. One is if you have an artifact knowledge of 17 or under, you'll get a bit more as long as you level it up before picking up your cache. And there are a bunch of new legendaries in this patch, so you may as well use your rolls when they're on the loot table. From what I've seen, most of these new legendaries are amazing, and there's no downside to saving those caches as long as you're patient. So like I said, kinda minor, but hey, you might get lucky and get one of the new ones. On the gold side of things, something else you may want to do is hang on to your Obliterum. These are getting updated in 7.1.5. You can use them 2 additional times up to an eye level of 865. So it may be worth hanging on to a few of them now and selling them as soon as the patch hits because it could see an increase in price from everybody rushing to the auction house to max out their gear. I made a similar prediction in my things to do before patch 7.1 video and it turned out to be correct. But nothing is ever 100%, so definitely do it at your own risk. It is entirely possible that it may not be lucrative if there's too many people planning on doing this, so there's no guarantee. Personally, I'll be hanging on to around 20 for the release of the patch, but that's just me. If they do see a spike though, I recommend selling them sooner rather than later since they'll probably even out after the first few days. And one last thing I wanted to mention is to make sure you save all of the gear you get. If you've been reading the PTR forums, you would know that there's been some major nerfs and rebalancing of secondary stats this patch, and as a result, the priority list for a lot of classes is changing. So any gear you get now you should hang on to because it could be upgrades when the patch hits. I'd advise giving jewelry in particular more leeway since they don't have main stats. They rely solely on secondary stats and are therefore more susceptible to balance changes like this. For example, this eye level 875 ring I just got isn't as good as this 840 ring if you can actually believe that, mainly because there's no intellect to make up for the bad secondaries. I'd say for non-jewelry, hang on to anything within 10 to 20 eye levels of your current gear. And for jewelry, hang on to everything within 30 to 40 eye levels. But that's about all I have for you for this video. If I come up with anything else as the patch gets closer, I'll be sure to make a part 2 of this, so keep an eye out for that if that interests you. Anyways, I hope you found this video helpful. Give it a like if you liked it, and if you really liked it, let me know in the comments and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching, good luck, and peace.